was sitting in my office parking lot. The engine was off, my hands rested on the steering wheel, and the dashboard clock read 8:43 a.m. I did not want to go in. Not because I hated my job, I actually liked the people. The work was fine. The paycheck always showed up on time. But there was this thought running through my head. If I walk in now, I'll spend the next 9 hours on autopilot. I'll answer emails, sit through meetings, eat the lunch which I would not remember. Then I would drive home, eat dinner, Netflix, and go to bed. And tomorrow, I'll do this all over again. But if I didn't go in today, then what? It wasn't some dramatic moment. There was no "I'm done" outburst or a movie scene exit. It was just this slow, quiet realization that I was living a life that didn't quite feel like mine anymore. That morning didn't change everything, but it shifted something in me. Because that was the day I started asking different kind of questions. Not how do I start a side hustle, but how do I build something that actually fits my life without burning out, without going broke or turning my peace into another job. That one question, it led me here. It led to this video. If you're new here, I'm Sushant. I talk about personal finance in a way that actually makes sense. Let's break down how to start a side hustle without losing your sanity or burning out. Everyone wants to start a side hustle, but what no one talks about is where you are in your life changes everything. A 22-year-old and a 42-year-old are not just building side hustles. They are building completely different lives, and your strategy has to match the season you are in. At 22, I made $0 from my first side hustle. I started a blog, I made videos using a $20 mic, I posted guitar covers that barely got any views. But that phase of my life was not about making money. It was about learning how to try. I had no mortgage, I had no kids, no one expected anything of me. That gave me permission to fail, openly, loudly, and as many times as I needed to. If you are in this stage, don't focus on profits yet. Focus on building momentum. Try different things, fail at them, learn and try again. And that kind of freedom doesn't last forever. So use it while you can. A few years later, things looked different. I was married, working full-time, had a house with a mortgage. So I used to wake up at 5 a.m. to write. I would work all day and then stay up till midnight trying to build something on the side. And guess what? I burnt out in 3 months. What I needed at that time was not more hustle. I needed better strategy. 5 focus hours in a week can get you further than 20 scattered, stressed out ones. If you are in this stage, do not try to juggle everything at once. Start with what you already know. Use your existing job skills, your network, and your schedule. This is not the time to reinvent yourself completely. It is the time to build on who you already are. And right now, I have kids, I have family, and I have some savings. But what I don't have is time. But still, I'm building faster than ever. And that is because I stopped trying to do everything on my own. At this stage, your time is your most valuable asset, and you have to treat it that way. You gotta build systems, delegate what you can, and focus only on the parts where your experience is truly adding value. You're not selling your time anymore, you're selling your wisdom. Next, we'll talk about the 3 filters to choose your perfect side hustle. Let me tell you something I have never said out loud. I once built an entire side hustle that I secretly hated. It looked great on paper, I had the skills, I made a little bit of money, but every time I sat down to work on it, I felt this quiet resistance in my body. It was like my brain was saying, this makes sense, but my body was saying, hey, we are not ready to do this. I ignored that feeling for a few months. I thought burnout came from working too hard. But the truth is, burnout often comes from working too long on the wrong thing. Here's what I wish someone had told me earlier. First, you have to like it. Not in the I'm obsessed with this kind of way, but in the can I do this every week unpaid for 3 months, 6 months kind of way. If the answer is no, then it is not the right hustle. I have built products that I never sold, but I still enjoyed working on them, and that is why I finished them. If your hustle drains you when no one is watching, it will not survive when things get hard. Second, you need to be good at it or be willing to learn fast. I once tried editing my own videos. It took me 3 hours for a 90-second clip. I hated every second of it. But writing, planning, teaching personal finance in a way that actually makes sense, that came more naturally to me. I was not amazing at it, but I was comfortable enough to keep going. And that built confidence. Start with what you are already good at and then grow into what you are curious about. And third is your hustle has to solve a real problem. A friend of mine once made a simple Google Sheet to help freelancers track their income. It was not fancy, it was not flashy, but it helped people. She made $200 from a complete stranger, not because it was was creative, but it was clear and useful. Creativity might get attention, but clarity gets you paid. If your hustle does not solve a real problem, that is okay. Then that means it is just a hobby, not a business. And there is nothing wrong with that as long as your expectations match your reality. But even once you find the right idea, something you really enjoy, you are good at, and it really solves a problem, you can still get stuck. Not because you're lazy or unmotivated. Most side hustles don't fail because people didn't try. They fail because people tried the wrong thing at the wrong time in the wrong way. So this brings us to our part 3. Avoid the mistakes that kill most side hustles. Mistake number 1, copying others blindly. Earlier on, I copied a full-time creator's routine while I was working 9 to 5, a full-time job and raising a family. Your hustle has to fit your life, not somebody else's lifestyle. Mistake number 2, spending money too soon. I bought a fancy mic, paid for premium tools, and subscribed to a software I barely used before earning a single dollar. If you haven't validated the demand, don't spend. That's not investing. That's procrastinating. Mistake number 3, over planning and underdoing. I once had 17 ideas mapped out in Notion, and guess what? How many launched? 0. Success is not neat or perfect. It's messy. You have to be willing to launch rough, fast, and learn out loud. Mistake number 4, waiting for the right time. I waited for the perfect calm week to start, but it never came. It still hasn't. You have to build during the chaos. That's how you know your hustle can survive the real world. Mistake number 5, monetizing every passion. I love singing. It helps me relax and brings me joy, but I never tried to sell it. Not every passion needs to be a hustle. Let your passion breathe. Turn your skill into hustle and keep your passion sacred. Now that you know what mistakes to avoid, let's talk about what's arguably the most important section of this video. Part 4. Make it fit your life. For the longest time, I planned my side hustle like I had no job, no child, no family, no responsibilities. Like I had a wide open calendar and endless motivation. But most nights, I just wanted to sit in silence. And I realized something important. Your hustle should not compete with your life. It should fit inside it. So here is how that actually looks like. Start your business using your real schedule. If you work from 9 to 5, maybe all you have is that 1 hour over the weekend. That is enough. Work during your high energy windows, not just the free time on your calendar. If you are a morning person, build before the world wakes up. If you are a night owl, create after dark. You gotta stack your habits. You can listen to podcasts while you're cooking, record voice notes during your commute, batch your work on Sundays if that's when you feel calm. You have to create the tiny habits, the tiny system that will save your energy. You can use templates for outreach. If you are into content creation, you can write down your scripts so you can reuse them. Small systems will take you further than the burst of big motivation. And you should definitely ask for help when you really need it. Hire a freelancer or partner with someone who has strength you do not have. Sometimes the smartest move is to borrow someone else's energy when yours run low. And most importantly, pick formats that match your life. If you hate editing, hire an editor. If writing feels heavy, maybe you're better off talking. If Instagram overwhelms you, focus on LinkedIn or emails. James Clear said it best. You don't rise to the level of goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So build a hustle that respects your time, not one that drains it. Do you know who else respects your time? Me. Tag along for more content that is actually doable and far from the hustle culture. This is your finance friend Sushant signing off. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and click on this interesting video.